At the St. Francis Inn. This is the parking.
So, as I was saying, a lot of paranormal groups and ghost hunting groups stay here. People have made many videos about staying here. I've never stayed overnight. It's actually on the left. There we go. So we did make a video about this location and Lily's room. That was quite a trek here. So let's make our way to the Spanish Military Hospital, be the second to the last stop on this tour. So, as I said, the Spanish
Head
occupied...
east on St. Francis Street toward Charlotte Street.
The
Spanish Military Hospital Museum may be closed by the time you arrive.
The Spanish occupied St. Augustine
Turn
until
left onto Charlotte Street.
the British period. But there were skirmishes between the British and the French and the Spanish. So these poor Spanish soldiers, they stayed here in the sweltering and humid heat of St. Augustine, wearing their wool and armor made of metal, dealing with all the mosquitoes and all the bugs and all the venomous snakes, and then the fighting. And so the city needed a hospital, and they created the Spanish military. Well, now it's called the Spanish Military Hospital. You can tour it during the day. You should do it. It's really interesting. But they go through the procedures and the medicines that they used at the time. Unfortunately, when an arm or leg was hit with a bullet, it was shattered. There was no other option but to remove it. So this place became known as an amputation mill. And this is not a made-up story. This is actually, there's accounts of this, that they had to remove any parts and put them out. They were in the street, and I guess they got buried out here in the street. And it's another hotbed of paranormal focus here in the city. It's interesting to visit there because they talk about a procedure called bloodletting, which was believed, it's basically cutting to allow blood to flow, because they believed that by bleeding someone you could relieve certain illnesses. And so they'll tell the story that that's actually how George Washington died, all the way north up in Mount Vernon, of a throat. He had some type of viral infection that closed his throat. So they don't like that dirty story about bloodletting, but apparently George Washington did receive the treatment of bloodletting, and it's actually believed he bled to death rather than just succumb to the illness that they were trying to cure. So it's really fun to go to Mount Vernon and talk to them about that, and they'll deny it because they sanitize the history about the Washingtons. But just fun fact, if you go to Alexandria and you go to the old apothecary, you'll see a letter there written from Martha to the doctor in town saying, my husband George is ill, I need help. Well, the doctor went to help. And the Spanish Military Hospital here will tell you that George Washington succumbed to bloodletting. But you can see all kinds of primitive tools and procedures they used to extract teeth, do amputations, cure other ailments with, I think they gave them mercury as one cure. mercury pills or something like that. We all know now that's extremely dangerous and deadly. Just a fun tip if you visit this city and you want to come to all these locations and you don't want to be in your car, you can rent a golf cart and drive around. It's really fun. We just did that yesterday. I filmed a bit using the golf cart. But we're walking tonight. All around you can see the influence of the Spanish here with the architecture.
Isn't that interesting? We happen to be built on a foundation of limestone. And what's interesting is that every place in the city made out of concrete is super hard.
So that was just a tour of the past. That's a haunted ghost tour. Now, one of the viewers on a video we have about Gettysburg said, why is Gettysburg, everywhere in Gettysburg haunted? And, you know, he raised a good question about, is it just commercialism, you know, playing on the ghost story theory and people wanting to hear ghost stories? Or are there really haunted locations? Well, this city has Gettysburg probably beat by 4 times because there are so many supposed haunted locations here. So you have to question, really? But again, talk to the locals and they won't, you know, they'll tell you what they've experienced, and it's nothing earth-shattering and nothing deadly or dangerous, just experiences, just encounters. That raises the question, are only certain people perceptive to that? Only certain people willing to pay attention to the signs and the noises, the sensations, or the feelings maybe? Or are they just imagining it? So you walk into that pool over at the old Henry Flagler Hotel and tell me what you feel. Or how about the room at the Ripley Museum, the one room where Mr. X supposedly stayed? You'll have to watch that video that we made about that. There's a particular feeling there. So here's the Spanish military hospital. It's closed now. So apparently, under the street here, on this cobblestone, there are many body parts and bodies. And the city didn't want to disturb them and kept the stones here. So we're coming back to the busy part of town. We're coming to the town square. We're going to end there, but I'm going to tell you one quick story about the town square. And it was a public execution location. So what did that mean? Well, one form of execution the Spanish implemented here was called garroting.
Oh, this side is the side of the hotel. Stay on this side of it.
Currently, this town square is used as a location for arts and public gatherings and meetings. But so back when the Spanish occupied this, as I said, they did public executions here as well, and they did garroting. Garroting was where the accused or a criminal was seated on a wooden plank. The wooden plank was behind the criminal's head, and it had a hole in it, and they put a rope through that hole and looped it around his neck, and then brought it out the other side, and then attached a stick to the rope, and then started to twist it. And they twisted it slowly. And what happened? Well, it twisted around the victim's neck, and they twisted and twisted until you can imagine the outcome. So I think we're going to end here, and we will be making videos about specific locations we saw tonight and some others, so keep an eye out for those.
And remember to like and subscribe.
Thank you so much for joining us. If you want us to visit other locations, let us know. If you've been here, let us know. Thanks.